What up, Dokkanners? Yep, you know it. The dog days of Dokkan are pretty brutal sometimes, and it is very slow right now. Today's video was going to be originally a stone count for what we can expect for part 2, but unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot of stuff that we can rely on. Because last year, this same time for part 2, it was during sort of a bit of a jam session where there was a lot of stuff happening pretty close together. And ironically, the things that we already know are coming up for this part 2 are pretty much all the stuff that we got for last year's part 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few different topics. The first thing is just covering the stuff that part 2 had last year. Also, we're going to talk about 11th anniversary potential news. We're also going to talk about a potential new free-to-play LR from Quest mode, as well as a few other things to sort of fill in the gaps. Now, as far as overall, the next few months, like I've been saying, are going to be fairly slow. I do understand that, you know, people may not want to necessarily play, which is totally understandable. But what I would recommend at the very least is that you must do all of your daily missions, stockpile those stones, because I feel like at some point soon, we're going to start to get some inklings towards the 11th anniversary because we've got some fan meetups coming up. And we could even get some missions that we've had this now several years in a row where we get early missions to help us stockpile certain resources for the upcoming anniversary. And if that happens, you guys definitely want to still be logging in, doing the bare minimum to get those things. In the meantime, I do have a pretty fun series in the works. It's not quite ready yet, but I am in the process of putting it together. If it all works out, I think that will be a very fun thing for us to enjoy together while we wait. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and jump in and discuss what we've got right here. So when I was looking through the part 2 details for our current celebration, looks pretty bleak because all that we've got is World Tournament. Obviously World Tournament is good in the sense 50 Dragon Stones, a new LR, sure, but it's just 50 Dragon Stones and there's nothing else on the schedule. Obviously that will change because once we jump into part 2, we will get more content. Part 2 is set to arrive October 15th, which is funny enough the same time as the release for the Gohan last year. So if part 2 is 5 days away, because I'm posting this video on the 10th, if October 15th is 5 days away, that means the data download is 4 days away. That means the Twitter reveal / teaser, the Twitter reveal would be 3 days away, and a potential teaser would be 2 days away. So as far as when we can expect some news for part 2, I would say probably in the next 2 to 3 days. Will they do a teaser or will they just show us? I don't know. That's why 2 to 3 I think is probably the safest bet. Whatever it is, I can almost guarantee none of y'all should be summoning. We do have free tickets, 21 free tickets coming in for Dokkan Special Day. So that will give you your summoning fix. So besides that, and besides the World Tournament, that's it. Looking at the Gohan celebration, that's also all they had. World Tournament and the Gohan. That's all that there was upon first release of the unit, according to this. I don't remember everything else, because sometimes like Dokkan Wiki, Dokkan Info, they don't show all the stuff in the campaign. It's separate. But I did see that a handful of days later, we did get 2 LR EZAs. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily going to happen again this year, because last year, it just so happened that the Namek theme of this celebration coincided with the worldwide celebration of 2020, which is where Goku and Frieza got their got their releases, the LRs, right? And those guys got their EZAs during the 10th anniversary after this. So we actually got the part 2 LR EZAs for that worldwide celebration first here, and then the part 1s of these 2 respective LRs got their EZAs 3 months later during the 10th anniversary, which was odd. So could they do something similar this year? They could. The only thing that makes me think is the theme. The theme for these 2 match the celebration because it was all Namek Saga, right? October was the month of Namek. It was Vegeta, then it was Gohan, and I am just now realizing Sparking Zero came out and Daima came out. Oh my god. Sparking Zero is now officially a year old? Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, that's also, I think, kind of contributing to maybe the lack of stuff in this last year's celebration, because there was a Daima celebration that was happening concurrently, and then we were also kind of shoehorning in the Pepe Gal stuff and the Halloween stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening here, not necessarily Dokkan related, but there was just other stuff happening. But yeah, it was the month of Namek. So because of that, this made a lot of sense. So that being said, if we translate this to the following year, that would mean 2021 Worldwide Celebration, the part 2 LRs would be Physical Metacooler and also AGL. Oh yeah, AGL Super Saiyan, the AGL Super Saiyans. But that was part 1 was Dokkan Festival Carnival. Part 2 is Dokkan Festival Carnival. So what they would probably do, if they were to match 1-to-1, we would probably get the carnivals here, which would mean Super Saiyan Goku and Metal Cooler. I don't know if that's going to happen, just because Goku Metal Cooler, they don't necessarily fit the theme of this celebration because it's all about GT, right? GT Boss. But I mean, corroded body and mind, maybe it could. So we could potentially see LR Part 2 EZA news, which would be nice, because while the celebration overall will be a dud, at least that will draw in some people. That will give us stones, but more importantly, it will give us more high functioning units. And most importantly, if it does give LR Physical, Metal Cooler, and EZA, it will also bolster that specific free-to-play Metal Cooler team. That team has sort of been irrelevant for quite some time. No free-to-play team measures up to the Rose clones at this point, but still, it would be nice to have some options. Even if it's lesser options, it would be good to have those. Also, I'm very tired of Metal Cooler just being trash. I'd like Metal Cooler to be good, please and thank you. So this would be nice, but that would only happen 5 days after the part 2, actually pretty much a week after part 2 drops. So not really much content for the first week. But then after that, that's it. That's all that there was in this celebration that I could look at for stone counting. So I couldn't do that video. It would have ended in 3 minutes. So what I did after this was I looked around the celebration to see what else was coming up. So since Gohan released on the 15th, I was looking around that, and then I started to see some interesting stuff. And so this, combined with some potential clues that Rick has also tweeted out, we could be looking at some of these things. So let's start with quest mode. So let's start with the Rick tweet in regards to quest mode. JP has had this random placeholder end date for double quest XP of October 19th since the end of the 10th anniversary. Maybe we're finally getting new quest stages next week. So if we get new quest stages, considering how much they have been doing with quest as of late, and by as of late, I mean like basically last year, they gave us 2 new free-to-play characters pretty quickly, one after the other. Actually, more like 3, because I think last year we also got Trunks and Broly, right? But they could be pushing for more free-to-play characters. And if that's the case, this would be the time to do it, because Dokkan is pretty much in hibernation mode, but also this is almost a year to the T from last year. October 10th, 2024 is when we got announcements for, actually, no. Yeah, when we got the new quest update, and that is when Bardock showed up. I don't know exactly when the Frieza released, whether it was before or after this, but it was still pretty close to this. So if we're getting another quest update around this time, it makes sense. At the moment, no free-to-play quest character is needing another Dokkan Awakening. What we could potentially get is maybe an EZA for an older quest mode character, or maybe just a new one altogether. So I would expect something like this coming up. And whenever quest mode gets updated, that means more Kais are available, more Hercule statues are available, and it will require expenses coming from your blue gems or your green gems, your incredible gems. So if you have been link leveling, you are off to a great start. If you have not been, most of the time the missions pretty much cover you, but you still want to try to have a little bit more of the gems just so you can buy whatever things that you can from the shop. There's no timetable, there's no rush. You don't need to get it all day one, but it's just good to have all that. But yeah, like they'll always update the incredible gem shop and stuff like that. So that's the first thing, and that's cool. The next thing, and I hope that they do something like this. They've been doing this now for the last few years, not necessarily in the same way, but the road to the next year's anniversary, they have been giving us something to look forward to. And they've been doing it as early as the dead periods. And this qualifies as one of those dead periods. Starting in October 10th, 2024, we were given notice that the 10th anniversary is approaching, so a coin collecting campaign is underway. During this coin collecting campaign, we did have temporary boost for characters. We did have coin rewards that you could use to exchange for various things during the 10th anniversary itself. And it brought a lot of eyes back to Dokkan. I don't know if they'll necessarily do all of this stuff to the same extent, because the 10th anniversary is a pretty not ominous, but it's a pretty memorable milestone. 11th anniversary might not be as much, but if they still do something along the lines of this, I think that would not only help retain the player base during these dead periods, but it would also just keep people's eyes on the prize. I feel like the less people play the game for an extended period of time, the less they're going to want to come back, even if the 11th anniversary is blank or blank. Like if they're looking really good, maybe they still may not want to play, because now it's already been 3 months, they haven't missed the game, maybe they don't necessarily want to jump back in. So I'm not saying that I want y'all to be playing the game all the time, but I'm just saying, like, from a business perspective, if you're trying to keep people's eyes on your game, you probably want to do stuff like this to try to keep their attention. If you're not going to give us more compelling content during these dog days of Dokkan, the least you can do is keep our focus peaked on what's like truly coming up that we should be caring about. So I hope that they do something like this. There is a fan meetup scheduled for October 25th in Japan. There are 2 Japan fan meetups happening in 2025. The first one being October 25th. So in regards to a potential lead up to the 11th anniversary, if we don't get anything now, we could get something around that point, because I feel like this is the perfect spot for us to get some really interesting 11th anniversary news. This is what people are going to want to be attending the venues for, not only for the stuff that's coming up that everybody knows about, but also the stuff way down the road that people are truly excited for. It's the same reason why Community Fest in Los Angeles was a big smash hit for people, because not only did they get to share the experience with other Dokkan players, but also they got to see brand new footage for upcoming content in the game, things that have never been seen before. That's interesting. Even if it's not happening right away, it's interesting. So hopefully JP gets the same treatment, not only for the new battle system, but also for 11th anniversary stuff. If they maybe get a preview, or if we get some sort of announcement of something like this, that'd be nice. Also, there was a Super EZA campaign for the Prime Battle Super Saiyan Goku. Now, since then, we have not had a Prime Battle LR Super EZA. So I think this would be the perfect time for us to not only get another Prime Battle, but have it be Frieza. Prime Battle Frieza Super EZA, I think, would be a really good one, because that would not only bolster Extreme Class, it would give Wicked Bloodline a much needed boost. And so if you consider potentially Prime Battle Frieza Super EZA and Metal Cooler and Goku getting their EZAs, if they decide to throw them in here, that would mean 2 significant boosts for Wicked Bloodline, which could then ultimately mean maybe during the month of November we could see something with Wicked Bloodline. Potentially. I'm just sort of grasping at straws here. That would be nice. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, there's that. And I think that was pretty much it. Besides that, I don't think that there was anything else of note. Oh, an update. So, I mean, this kind of just coincidence, I guess. There was an update that was coming soon around middle of October last year. There is also going to be an update coming soon middle of October this year, because we already know the end of the reversals is coming up. So based on the timing of this notice being posted again, I think we could see the October reversal removal version update in exactly 2 weeks on the 22nd, since next week is specialty. What's the announcement here? The announcement is we will be ending support for iOS 15 and below, with the version update scheduled for October 25th. Users who are using the applicable OS versions are kindly requested to update your... Yeah, this is most definitely when it's going to be happening. So Rick is most of the time pretty on point when it comes to this sort of thing. So I would imagine that this will actually be when it happens. So I made a video talking about what you guys could do in the meantime. You guys could probably turn all of those, if you guys want to stockpile a bunch of those like hourglass medals, turn them into potential Zenny and whatever. You still got a couple more weeks, probably. So that is, I think, the last bit of news as far as anything remotely interesting happening during this month. So yeah, I hope that I can get my version Z. Oh yeah, the version Z stuff. Oh man, I hope we get this again. You know what? With this update, I hope we get maybe like the version Z, not the version Z, but like the Saiyan Saga free-to-play team. If we can get the Saiyan Saga free-to-play team EZAs, they might reset the missions. And if they reset the missions, then I might be able to get my beloved version Z SSR Goku back. Because when that update drops, I am going to lose my SSR version Z Goku. That would be very nice. Daima celebration info. And then, yeah, we jumped into the Roshi stuff. Roshi dropped very soon after. Gohan dropped on the 15th. Peppy Gals was 6 days later, as was the Roshi celebration. Right. So yeah, it's gonna be slow, but don't worry, guys. I got you. Hopefully, what I've got planned will happen soon, and we can all have a good time. But yeah, not much happening until then. Just log in, do your dailies, play Gekishin, play. You know what I was gonna say. I mean, I'm having a good time. I've just seen how much people are hating Legends. I'm enjoying it, but yeah, I mean, play whatever you want. Just as long as you log in every day, do your dailies. You know what I'm gonna do? We should go live and we should do finally the OST tier list. Now that Dokkan is slowed down, we could do that. So give me some ideas in the comments. What are some other things that I should be doing? I said that I would do the tier list a while ago. I never did because I'm a failure. So I will do the OST tier list. What are some other things that I should have been doing on stream for Dokkan? Let me know. So that's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Let in the comments your thoughts on the stuff that is coming up for part 2. What are your thoughts on the potential part 2 LR? We didn't even talk about that. We'll make that a separate video. But what are your thoughts on things coming up for the next few celebrations? Do you think we're going to be getting some 11th anniversary road to missions? Do you think we're going to get some interesting news coming out of the community fest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.